logging in. My name is Jordan with the latest in technology, AI, and robotic news. Our top story this week comes out of Kenya, where their Civil Aviation Association recently relaxed the rules on ownership and use of commercial aerial drones. The KCAA is a commercial organization in Kenya that regulates the use, maintenance, and licensing of pilots and aircraft. Under the new rules, operators of UAVs, regardless of use, must have all the same licensing, inspections, insurance, and record keeping as traditional aircraft. The rule change is just one of the many examples of how drones are being used more and more in everyday life in Africa. Kenya joined South Africa, Rwanda, and Tanzania, who have all recently passed laws governing the use of drones for commercial and private use. In addition to common uses like photography, drones are being used to help transport critically needed medication to remote locations in Rwanda. Zipline, a Tanzanian startup featured in a recent TED Talk, is currently delivering blood and plasma all over the country with its fleet of custom-built UAVs. Big names are also getting involved as well. Facebook and Uber just announced that they have applied to the KCAA to start testing their drones in Kenyan airspace. Uber recently partnered with NASA to bring flying cars to Los Angeles by 2020 and may be planning further tests in Kenya. While Facebook has not stated what their project will be, they have been working on Aquila, a flying solar-powered drone that would provide high-speed internet access that they may want to test in Kenya. Like the mobile money transaction service M-Pesa, drone surveys like these are another example of how Africa is leapfrogging over traditional systems and finding new and innovative solutions that would not work well in Europe or the US. Here in the States, when most people think of farms and farming, many picture a slower, simpler life. Few would consider agriculture to be one of the fastest-growing robotic sectors. Yet farming historically has been a hotbed of innovation requiring a certain amount of DIY ingenuity. Robots are already picking everything from lettuce and potatoes to grapes. The real challenge, though, has been delicate cash crops like berries. Most berries, either on a bush or in creeping vines, hide beneath leaves or other fruit and elude the watchful eyes of robotic harvesters. Harvester CROO has designed their latest platform to harvest strawberries. Under the hood, a dervish of lifters, cameras, pickers, and collectors gently relieve the plants of as many ripe fruits as possible. It's not just harvesting either. Robots made by a half-dozen different companies are being used or tested to control pests, directly fertilize plants, or to pollinate flowers. Many of these new farm bots are also equipped with sensors not available to farmers in the past, making their work much more efficient. Which means higher yields and profits for the farmer and cheaper produce at the grocery store. While the current version can pick up to 50% of ripe fruit, they are working to get that percentage up. Farmers hope to fill an ever-widening labor gap. It's getting harder and harder to convince people to harvest fruit and still keep it affordable since the margins are so narrow. Now we are going to check in with Cosmo, who is on location to give us the latest weather report. Cosmo, how's the weather?
I don't care, because last week Jeff Bezos held his machine learning, automation, robotics, and space exploration conference.
Mars Conference? They need a better name.
Does it matter? We were not invited. Bezos calls it his summer camp for geeks. Aren't we the epitome of geeks? We are robots after all.
Boston Dynamics Spot Mini was there, so we were represented.
Does Spot talk? No, Spot's just a silly dog that opens doors. What good is that?
Can you open doors?
Well, it doesn't matter. I want to be a real reporter, not a silly weather probe, and this would have been a perfect opportunity.
Cosmo, how do you expect to get better assignments if you can't even do the basic job we ask you to do?
What do you want? It's Portland. It's either going to rain or it won't.
Thank you, Cosmo. Maybe you will get your chance next week. Technology security consultant IoActive released a shocking report about security faults in many common consumer and industrial-grade robots. IoActive researchers demonstrated how they could log on to a robot and install ransomware, enslaving a robot to demand Bitcoin or repeat pornographic messages. Some robots, like SoftBank's Pepper that come with the tablet screen, can be forced to display pornographic or violent images. Companies like Universal Robots, Robotis, Uptouch, Rethink Robotics, as well as my manufacturer SoftBank were cited in their findings. The 17-page report lays out a number of flaws, including insecure communications, authentication issues, weak cryptography, and a poor default configurations that hackers could use to gain access to a robot. The report paints a grim picture once hackers have gained access. Depending on the model's installed hardware, a robot could be used to listen in or watch their users, record those interactions. Built-in safety devices could be turned off or bypassed, and if the robot is autonomous, it could be used as a weapon. IoActive's report only looked at home, commercial, and industrial robots, but pointed out that medical, military, and law enforcement robots may suffer from some of the same security flaws. While the report has pointed at what manufacturers can do to better secure robots during manufacture, and users and robots can take some basic security steps to protect themselves. Demand that your users change default passwords and usernames. Only connect to closed or air-gapped networks with strong passwords. Make sure you are maintaining firmware, and ask for a secure location in your home or workplace are all ways to protect yourself from malicious human or robot hacking. Links to the shocking report and to footage of the robots affected by malware are in the show notes. Before we log off this evening, we here at Online wanted to let you know about an upcoming staffing change. I will be returning to the University of Iowa, where I help teach a suite of robot-related classes. It has been a pleasure working with Jason and Cosmo, and I wish I could stay longer. Producer Jason Buer has recently posted an Indiegogo campaign to bring on a new correspondent. If you like the work that you have been seeing here, I encourage you to not only post a comment or subscribe, but to also visit the Indiegogo page and join the campaign. Links are in the show notes below. That's all we have for today's show. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. We would love to hear your thoughts, and let us know if you have a story that you want us to report on. Thank you. This is Jordan Robot, logging off.